can start. And we have 5 members of our conference. Yes, okay. We're glad to see you. We're very happy to see you on our conference and start our conference, IConMaSTEd. It is a 15th conference, and in this year there are also international conference. We have 4 sections. Today works 2 sections, physics and astronomy. It was in the morning, and computer science have 2 parts in this year, and start in the morning, and now it's a second part of this section. And in the Friday we have a first section, science, technology, and educational. So we can to see you. We have glad to see you in the Friday on the other part of conference, and on the close session. Conference closing. Okay. Irina Sergeyevna, maybe you say
yes,
anything.
Now we have 6 reports and let me remind you of general rules our section. First, we show a video, and next we invite you to discussion. The language of our events is English, and we wish you everyone.
Okay, yes. We wish have a good time for all us, good luck for all us, and after presentation everyone can answer and be activity, ask question, and if you can't turn on microphone, you can write in the chat. You can write in the chat and chat in the during of the presentation. When you look video, maybe microphone turn off, please. Okay, maybe there are some question.
I have a question. Will you spread the video or me? Because okay.
We can demonstrate it video.
So
okay.
The first
okay, we can start. Yes. First video, and first video from Katerina by the Katerina Vlasenko from the National University of Kyiv-Mogila Academy, also KRYVYI State Pedagogical University, Irina Lavyanova, Donbass National Academy of Civil Engineering and Architecture, Olena Chumak, Irina Sitak, Dayarana Kovalenko from Vladimir Danil East Ukrainian National University, and topic, the wheel of mathematics learning methods. Please, Katerina.
When you come across an exciting new method for learning mathematics, you think, this is really cool. Can I use this method in my classroom? But then you realize that you need to think about how the use of this method can contribute to the achievement of the educational goals of the program you are teaching. In fact, it was this issue and the desire to help mathematics teachers make the right decisions when choosing teaching methods that led to the emergence of the wheel of mathematics learning methods. What goals and specific tasks does the teacher set for himself before entering the classroom? How are they related? And how to check whether the set goals are being achieved? Professor Benjamin Bloom of the University of Chicago asked these questions in the 1950s, trying to bring a set of disparate goals and tasks to a single system. Bloom created a theory that has been the subject of heated debate and discussion for the sixth time. In his fundamental work, Taxonomy of Educational Goals, The Sphere of Cognition, Bloom tried to construct a hierarchy of educational goals covering the cognitive domain, which would describe step by step the levels of human thinking and the learning tasks that follow from this. The team of scientists Anderson et al. Revised the taxonomy, changing its content and swapping its levels after the modernization of the taxonomy. A model called Pedagogical Wheel appeared in Carrington's blog, in which they found intersection points of the goals of Bloom's taxonomy and options for using useful iPad applications for the appropriate group. So, one can endlessly argue about the values of Bloom's classification of pedagogical goals. But there is an obvious fact: taxonomy clearly does not lose its relevance. Moreover, it is used not only in the framework of traditional education, but also in completely new models that provide for interactivity of learning and its openness to new technologies. The purpose of our research is to develop a wheel of mathematics learning methods to develop the wheel. We used the analysis of the answers of mathematics teachers and master's students of pedagogical and classical institutions of higher education. 58 respondents took part in the survey. All teachers agreed with the idea that several different areas of didactics should be combined in one diagram, proposed in the form of a wheel. We consider each area as a sieve through which the process of developing mathematics learning methods is filtered. Therefore, the specified areas of didactics work like wheels that turn and move each other. There are 5 such wheels. Competencies are at the heart of learning design. Mathematical competences meet the long-term goals of educational programs and ensure the student's employability. Motivation is the most important component of any methods. It moves both the student and the teacher, each time providing an answer to the question, "Why am I doing this again?" Bloom's taxonomy is a tool that can help a teacher develop educational goals that ensure the formation of thinking in students, the order of which is constantly growing. Classical methods of teaching and forms of organization of the learning process are accompanied by the use of learning tools that help create the necessary conditions for achieving the goal of learning. The wheel should be seen as a structured set of prompts that provide opportunities to reflect on teaching, from planning to implementation. These prompts are interconnected, like mechanical mechanisms that ensure the development of a methods for learning mathematics and the selection of its components. During their selection, one should be prepared for the fact that a decision made in one of the areas often affects other decisions. The development of the wheel consisted of several stages. At the first stage, it was decided on the areas of didactics that would be presented in the form of a wheel. The results of the survey of mathematics teachers made it possible to determine the following areas: competencies, motivation, Bloom's taxonomy, activities, technologies. At the next stage, it was determined the content of the 5 sectors of the wheels. The authors filled each sector: apply, analyze, evaluate, create, remember, understand, with tips and hints that allow the teacher to implement activities. Active verbs of Bloom's taxonomy and components of the classical methodological systems such as methods, forms, means. It was established that Bloom's taxonomy has a direct advantage both at the stage of selecting teaching methods and means or tools, and at the time of determining effective forms of organization of educational activities. This allowed the authors of this study to establish types of teaching methods and means that are most effective for the formation of certain high-level thinking skills with respect to Bloom, as well as to rank the forms according to their effectiveness in achieving the goals based on Bloom's taxonomy.
Okay. Thank you. Katerina, are there some questions?
Do you have any questions?
Yes.
Unfortunately, we have only all members of our community among the members of the conference today, so it's quite difficult. Maybe you prepare some questions for me.
Yes, I have not questions, but I have thinking. What realized Bloom methods in the distance educational when we
it's,
study online? Are there any problems with it?
I believe, of course, that taxonomy is very renowned for today, and it's useful for our distance education today. It's more because for today we have to pay attention to creative thinking and, of course, use especially some opportunity pedagogical view. So our teachers have to be acquainted with this taxonomy, very good to use it, and of course to use it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. What form do you use for changing?
For today, of course, form it's about if, for example, to speak about some lecture which I have at my university. Of course, it's can be different. It's lecture. It's of course some practical class, and I believe that for today we have to organize more often some group and use group form, and of course to use individual form, because to make our students more appropriate for some requirement for today's of course it's not about collective work, it's more about individual and group work. But of course I have experience, I believe, like a lot of my colleagues, I have experience, and I'm a tutor. And I have my class with different students. I mean that I'm tutor of the side bookie. Maybe you hear about it. So for this case, of course, it's only individual work, because it's of course, and again, it's about taxonomy, because there are a lot of people, especially parents, of course, who want their children to have to give them opportunity to think clearly. I mean, creative thinking. So they develop their children, and of course, it's a good way to know about this taxonomy, because it's about useful. It's about useful tools, means, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, thank you. I understand. It is very interesting and very science deep, not science, methodological, a deep work. and very interesting in our, because taxonomy Bloom are very popular many years ago, but old methods are actual and now.
Yes, yes, you're right.
Okay, thank you. Maybe there are any questions.
I have a question. Is this independent research or a part of other project or grant?
Okay, I see what you mean. It's not independent, first of all, because it's about the work of all our community. And as usual, we divided our work into different parts, and people from different institutions, as you can see, they are the author of our article. They collected some information from Google Forms. They communicated with different people, and of course it's a good idea because it's quite difficult to do such kind of research on your own. So it's not independent. We did it together.
Okay.
Dziękuję. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Katerina. Okay. And next report, yes, it's
Yes.
from the same team, yes, from Ukraine.
It's not the same team, yes, but it's
No, but here there are.
our speaker is Tatiana Armash.
Yes, but speaker Tatiana Armash and topic interdisciplinary connecting of mathematics and literature in the preparation for external independent assessment of students humanitarians. It's very interesting. Please start.
We congratulate the organizing committee and participants of the conference. We present to your attention a report on the topic interdisciplinary connections of mathematics and literature in the preparation for external independent assessment of students of humanities. Since 2021, passing the final state certification in the format of EA has become mandatory in Ukraine for all graduates of secondary education institutions. The statistics of the results of the 2021 EA show that more than 32% of high school students did not pass the EA in mathematics, which is almost twice the number of students who did not pass the EA in other academic subjects. Such results are explained by the low level of motivation of students studying in humanities classes to learn mathematical disciplines. Therefore, in order to increase the interest of these high school students, and with the aim of helping them prepare for the EA in mathematics, the authors of the article come up with a proposal to develop interdisciplinary mathematics problems for students of humanities classes, which are based on the content of specialized disciplines. The system of problems was compiled in accordance with the 6 content lines, sections, of mathematics, numbers and expressions, equations, inequalities and their systems, functions, combinatorics, probability theory, statistics, planimetry, stereometry, and types of problems that are found in EA. When compiling the problems, it was taken into account that all problems will be open-ended with a short answer. On the basis research methods, a system of problems based on the plot of Bulgakov's novel, The Master and Margarita, was compiled for the preparation for the EA in mathematics of high school students who study in humanities and classes with a creative inclination. All in all, the authors of this article set a goal to develop problems that demonstrate such types of interdisciplinary connections of mathematics with literature, such as parallel learning and the application of the method of mathematical modeling. Since Bulgakov's novel, The Master and Margarita, is studied in the first half of the 11th grade according to the curriculum of the foreign literature discipline. And preparation for the external examination and general repetition in mathematics take place in the second half. This allowed to demonstrate the method of parallel learning. At the same time, the content of the novel is saturated with a sufficient number of facts, which are presented in numerical form, which in turn allows applying the method of mathematical modeling and using these facts to construct problems of mathematical content. When developing problems, the authors followed the principle of building competence-oriented tasks. According to this principle, the problem contains the so-called informational noise and a purely mathematical content. In the proposed system of problems, the mathematical content was built on the basis of numerical data taken from the plot of the novel. And the informational noise was connected with the emotional style of the novel and therefore did not distract students, but on the contrary created an interdisciplinary connection between mathematics and literature. In this way, the developers of the problems managed to combine the aesthetic sensitivity of mathematics with the literary sensitivity to words. We conducted the experiment to determine the effectiveness of the preparation of humanities students for the AR in mathematics. The basis of the research was secondary education institutions in which Masters of the Specialty 014 Secondary Education, Mathematics, completed pedagogical internship in the 11th grades, who study mathematics at the standard level. Control, CG, and experimental groups, EG, were formed in a non-random manner in order to ensure equal conditions for conducting the experiment. The formed groups were examined for statistical equivalence by analyzing the level of knowledge and skills shown by students during the monitoring trial testing of the AR in mathematics at the beginning of the experiment. The experiment was conducted for 6 weeks. 145 students took part in it, 70 in CG and 75 in EG. Preparation for the AR in mathematics in classes of the control group was carried out according to traditional methods. Students were offered mathematical problems for repetition on various topics of the school mathematics course, which are presented at the external examination. Preparation for the AR in mathematics in the classes of the experimental group was carried out according to the method of implementing a system of problems, in which the interdisciplinary connections of mathematics and literature are implemented. The problems were developed on the basis of the plot of Bulgakov's novel, The Master and Margarita. After the end of the experiment, the final trial test of the secondary school in mathematics of EC and CG students was conducted to determine the level of their mathematical preparation. From the histograms it can be seen that the level of students, CG, EG, knowledge and skills has increased. However, in CG the average score increased by 2.4, and in EG, by 5.9. Which indicates that the implemented system of problems has a more significant effect on both increasing the motivation of students to study mathematics and their mathematical preparation. The wide and multifaceted interdisciplinary connections of mathematics with other school subjects, in particular the humanities cycle, can become a guide for students of humanities to study the academic discipline mathematics, which is not a profile for them. In the study, using the example of the implementation of a system of mathematical problems, in which the interdisciplinary connections of mathematics and literature are implemented, the effect on increasing the motivation of humanitarian students to study mathematics is shown. The effectiveness of the system of problems built on the plot of a literary work depends on several factors. First, A literary work that is interesting to students and already known to them from the school curriculum must be chosen. Secondly, it is appropriate to choose a work that allows its plot to create a situation that requires the construction and study of its mathematical model. Thirdly, it is important to choose the principle of construction of problems of a certain type, for example, competence or application. And finally, an important factor in the construction of problems is the combination of the aesthetic sensitivity of mathematics with the literary sensitivity to words. The positive results of the implementation of the system of interdisciplinary problems, which were developed on the basis of the plot of a literary work in the preparation for the AIR of humanitarian students is evidenced by the increase in the level of motivation of students and their mathematical training, which were confirmed during the experiment. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, and Tatiana. It's a very interesting experience because it's really very important in our time. Okay, have any questions?
I have.
Okay.
Why was the work Master and Margarita chosen?
Thank you for your
Good question.
questions. The novel, The Master and Margarita, is very favorite and classical because we
If you are not against of it, maybe I will help Tatiana to
Thank you.
answer this. Because previous conference, we attended together this conference, and one quite renowned, unfortunately, I don't remember how it was his name. I'm sure that, unfortunately, I don't see right now this scientist today, but he was from Spain and from Spanish. And when we introduced all people with our research about, we collected some problems, and he offered us to do something like that, but to take some quite renowned novel, and it was his proposition because I asked them what the novel will be interesting for people from Europe, and he answered that he knows that a lot of people is acquainted with this novel, so it's a good idea to take really Master and Margarita. And unfortunately, as I know that there is idea in our country to take away this novel from program, our students, but I believe that Bulgakov will continue to be interesting for people, not only because that he's novel on Russian, but because his idea will be interesting for our people. So it was really his idea about this novel.
Okay. Thank you. And it's very interesting, and I think what about you have students in the mathematics for humanitarians, yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, by what subject or what classes? Mathematics?
No, it's first of all, it's about running experiment, and of course we took it for humanitarian classes because, as you know, the tutorial exam which we have this year, children, students from humanitarian classes took part in this exam. So to prepare for this exam and to make it like I don't know, interesting journey for this children in the course of preparation, we prepared some problems. Of course, we take it according to some problems and we make it more easy. And of course, it was successful for children where we used these problems.
Okay, what I say, because last year lecture of STEM educational for humanitarians, and they also have many problems when they listen here. Mathematics, oh my God, it's very difficult. It's number, it's very difficult, and we all a year or not a year or half year study with they mathematics and physics, not very difficult. It may be interesting, and your work is very interesting, but there in the work there are very difficult tasks, and but it's future.
Of course, I believe that in for a long while below that we will have more better students, and of course it
Yes.
will be more successful because it's only first step, and of course we should believe that mathematics is really important for any person because it's really can help to order our minds in our head. So we will continue our research. I believe it will be successful.
Yes, we believe it. It's successful. Thank you. It's very interesting, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and have a good students, which have many. Yes.
Yes, you're right. I believe that it's a good idea to have for anyone good students because it's really
Yes, yes, and with high knowledge. Okay,
yes.
thank you. Maybe there are any questions. We have a new members. Okay, so we thank you, Tatiana. We thank you, Katerina and Irina, and we go to next report. Speaker is Vitaly Achkan from Berdyansk State Pedagogical University. Topic is the methods of using online course creative thinking through learning elementary math in the mathematics teacher training system.
Okay. Using the online course creative thinking through learning elementary maths in the mathematics teacher training system. As noted in the Professional Standard Teacher of General Secondary Education and Standards for Preparing Teachers of Mathematics, developed by the Association of Mathematics Teacher Educators, creativity is an important component of the professional competence of a mathematics teacher. The formation and development of all the key personality qualities of a would-be mathematics teacher take place in the process of studying professional disciplines, which are divided into normative and variable. Elementary mathematics is one of the key normative disciplines for the training of would-be mathematics teachers. The goal of studying the discipline is the formation of skills and abilities of would-be teachers to creatively use the acquired skills in practical activities. In modern conditions of education development, online courses are becoming more and more widespread as a form of distance organization or a component of mixed learning. The purpose of the article is to present the method of using the online course Creative Thinking through Learning Elementary Maths as a component of the study of elementary mathematics and to confirm the effectiveness of the implementation of this course in the process of training would-be mathematics teachers. Method of using an online course in the process of studying elementary mathematics provides 3 options for combining an online course and learning elementary mathematics. Students who studied the course of elementary mathematics during classroom training or blended learning simultaneously studied the online course Creative Thinking through Learning Elementary Maths. If necessary, in addition to online consultations on the platform Higher School Mathematics Teacher, offline consultations were received. Students used the online course as a platform to support flipped learning. That is, they familiarized themselves with the material of the lectures and performed practical tasks presented on the online course platform. Most of the practical tasks were presented and discussed by the students during the study of elementary mathematics. Depending on the epidemiological situation, the discussion took place in an online format or an offline format, in the audience. This group of students worked with the online course during the semester they were finishing their elementary math course. Students used online course materials as part of flipped learning, lecture sessions. Students received practical tasks as part of studying elementary mathematics and reported in the online or offline format during classes or consultations. The third option differed from the second one in that students used the online course platform to get answers to questions related to both online course learning and elementary mathematics learning in general. According to the first option, students started their studies in the online course at any convenient time for them during the last semester in which elementary mathematics was studied. Students worked through the online course at their own pace. The only requirement was to complete the online course 3 weeks before the test, exam, in elementary mathematics. The total estimated time of working on the course is 24 hours. The second option provided that students who worked with the online course were instructed to process the materials of 6 lecture classes by a specific deadline. For example, students had to familiarize themselves with the first lecture on creative thinking and its structure before the first semester colloquium. During the colloquium or, in its absence, at the final class of a certain content module, a short discussion was held based on the lecture material. The teacher answered the questions that arose from the students. For example, the question of the interdependence of creative abilities and creative thinking caused a lively discussion. After working through the theoretical classes, the students completed the relevant practical tasks posted on the online course platform and presented them at the practical classes. Practical tasks were focused on the following activities from the rich task: recognition, classification, solving, and creation. For example, students performing practical tasks before the second class analyzed the tasks proposed by the developers of the online course and substantiated whether they belong to the rich task. In the same session, students presented their examples of tasks that, in their opinion, belong to the rich task. We will give 2 examples of tasks proposed by students. Students who worked with the online course in the third option worked with lecture tasks in a similar mode to the second group. At the same time, they received practical tasks from teachers. Depending on the mode of study of the university, students presented the performance of tasks and participated in the discussion either remotely or in the classroom. For example, with the third lecture on the topic Open Tasks in Elementary Mathematics, students were introduced to the second semester colloquium or before the end of half of the content modules of the elementary mathematics course this semester. Examples of practical tasks aimed at completing particular types of activity with rich tasks in slide. The effectiveness of the implementation of the online course in the mathematics teacher training system was tested in February-December 2021. At the end of the experiment, the students also passed elementary mathematics tests, which consisted equally of traditional and rich tasks. To make sure that the existing difference between the results of the tests in control and experimental groups is statistically significant, Fisher's statistical test was used. The analysis of resources and research papers confirmed the relevance of using online courses in the mathematics teacher training system. One of the possible options for such use is the combination of studying elementary mathematics and the online course Creative Thinking through Learning Elementary Maths. Such a combination, depending on the number of credits assigned to the study of elementary mathematics at the university, should be carried out in 3 options. We see further prospects in the development of methods of using online courses, focused on the formation of mathematical competencies and the development of creative thinking of students based on activities with rich tasks in higher mathematics and mathematics in high school.
Okay, thank you. It's yet methodologic, a deep walk. Are there any question? Maybe something of teams want to edit anything?
It's as you can see, that is a short article from our community, and of course it's really what I can say
yes.
that grateful. I am grateful for any member of our community, because it's really it was the case when we together manage to make this research, and of course it's become more difficult because some events and war in our country. So I only can say that I am grateful for all our members for this really work. And of course, it's if someone have any question, I'm ready to answer them.
Okay, Katerina, your day today.
I
Okay,
have question.
yes, yes.
Which university use the developed course? And next, are this university only in Ukraine or and abroad?
Okay, I see what you mean. Yes, we of course we collaborated with different scientists from different university, and it was before war it was more easy, first of all because we attended some conference, we went with our members and attending this conference, we equated with different people. Today it's not really difficult. It's even more easy, but the only unfortunately is that some our people they are not at home, and the most of them they are not at home today because our members they are from Lugansk region, Donetsk region, as you know, it's really some location and region of our country which are under war. So some quite of feeling and bad mood of our people that intervene in our work, but I believe that after war we will continue our work, and we manage to introduce different scientists from different universities, and we will continue our journey, and we will have more opportunity. I believe not even in I believe that at the end of our summer the war will finish and we continue our work.
Yes, of course. Do you use anything program simulation or platforms?
Yes, we have not only we have our motto, we have
Yes, the
platforms.
mathematics.
Yes, for mathematics. But as I was saying before, for today it's more and more, of course, difficult. It's more difficult. First of all, because the war. It's more difficult because
Yes.
I give access to this platform, and you can see it's it's really as you can see different projects and
Okay.
different course and mathematics course, and of course you can see there are different of them. There are different of them.
Okay, yes, I see. It's your site.
It's our site, yes. It's
Okay.
not
No, yes, yes,
not
it's our site.
of course,
Your
today
teams, yes.
it is becoming more and more difficult. It is becoming more and more difficult because
Okay, thank you. It's very interesting and very useful. I think it's very useful for other members because in nowadays when we must development critical thinking and we must use it as such as platform or such as research when study in the for example, in our university, KRYVYI State Pedagogical University, we study online. And today, and we don't know what will in the next year. Okay, thank you, Katerina. Maybe there are any questions or any thinking about use the program. Okay. Yes. Then we can go to next presentation and next speaker. Thank you, Katerina. Okay, next speaker, Tatiana Kramarenko from KRYVYI State Pedagogical University and Kochinya Olha. They use, but I don't see Tatiana and I can't see Olha. Are there? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Ruslan, you don't? Okay. Then maybe next.
Maybe next report and
Yes, from Alla Savchenko. Are you ready, Alla? Okay. Yes, yes. Okay, Alla Savchenko with teams from National Technical University Kharkiv Polytechnic Institute. Topic of methodology of project-based learning for training junior students in applied mathematics general scheme of the educational process.
The work is dedicated to methodology of project-based learning for training junior students in applied mathematics, general scheme of the educational process. First, we will find out what project-based learning is. Then, I will voice the problem we encountered trying to implement this technique. We will discuss how to correctly set the task and coordinate the work of teams of students and teachers. Then I will give you the optimal way to present the results of the work and how to evaluate them. Well, in the end, I will present the original author's methodology for organizing the entire project-based learning process, with a detailed description of the choreography of all participants. Project-based learning is a framework of teaching and learning in which students learn by actively engaging in real-world, practically meaningful projects. Project-based learning may be considered as a student-centered pedagogy, as a style of active learning and acquirer-based learning. This methodology is fundamentally different from the classical one, but this is exactly what the first modern world requires when employers want to get a young but already experienced specialist as an employee. We are now talking mainly about the IT industry. In the literature, you can find a lot of general phrases about this teaching method, but when trying to introduce it into the educational process, many problems and small details arise, the description of which cannot be found in the literature. I will cite only the main ones. The first problem is the choice of formulation of the problem, since it should be not a trivial task from the textbook. Next, the problem of management. How to organize work within the teams of students and teachers and between the teams. The next problem is how to present the results of such a complex teamwork of students and, not less importantly, how to grade these results. Next, I will present the way of solving these problems developed by the authors and hunt over years of practice. So, the first problem is the choice of the task. I must say right away that the project-based learning method is adapted for students of applied mathematics, which naturally affected the choice of the task. We have developed criteria that the task must meet. The results of the project work should be software, and the task should be of an applied nature. Various subject areas, physics, biology, tourism, whatever, should be involved. The solution of the task should be not obvious, and its solving should require a mathematical model. The task should allow splitting into several parallel subtasks, which is required by teamwork. While both the models and methods for solving it must satisfy the curricula of the specialty. Let's move on to the organization of the work of teachers. Since project-based learning simulated work on a project in a real-world IT company, the roles of the teachers are appropriate. There must be a customer, preferably a real one from the outside. If there is none, this role is taken by one of the teachers. It's necessary to have a manager who will coordinate the work of all participants in the process. Coach trains the students' project team in the management of the full cycle of the work on the project. The supervisor controls this work. Well, since the implementation of the project requires knowledge from different areas, appropriate consults are involved. Optimally, the project team should consist of 3 to 5 students. Then the work of the project can be naturally split into the following parallel subtasks: building a mathematical model and its software implementation, user interface implementation, software testing and verification, documentation writing. At the end of the work, both the product itself and the level of skills acquired by the students are evaluated. The final grade is given after the official defense, individual for each member of the project team, the average of several independent ratings. The assessment is attended by independent experts, the teacher's team, students themselves. We consider the work on the project as a business process and present it in the form of Prepayment diagram. This guarantees the consequency of the process, its controllability at all stages, and transparency for each participant. Unfortunately, I have no time to comment this diagram in detail here, but everybody interested can find our description of the process in our article. One more issue is estimate of the labor cost of the teachers. Based on a 16-week semester, the optimal time to complete the project was estimated to be 10 weeks. Then, the labor cost of the teachers can be calculated according to the present formula. They depend on the number of students and simultaneously work on projects. This methodology has proven to be rather effective over the years. This can be judged by the feedback from the students. They note that thanks to the project, they understand more clearly the interrelationship between academic disciplines, which often looks independent during the classical teaching, have learned to find the relationships between abstract mathematical concepts and real objects and phenomena, and build the corresponding mathematical model, have learned to formalize the problem, have learned to reasonably choose and apply mathematical methods, have gained teamwork skills, learned to negotiate this with team members, correctly distribute work stages that delegate authority. Teachers, in turn, point out that students show high motivation working on projects than studying standard courses. After working on the project, students have a deeper understanding of the essence of their future specialty, and they better master the subsequent disciplines. In the course of the project, teachers also expand their horizons and improve their skills. The result of projects often becomes the basis for scientific and qualifying papers. Also, we received positive feedback from stakeholders who say that students with experience in project-based learning adapt more quickly to the conditions of real work in IT industry. In addition, at the university level, project-based learning generally contributes to the emergence of new startups and, in general, the formation of links between the business and department. Now, let us make some conclusions. We have developed a detailed methodology for implementing project-based learning for first and second year applied mathematical students, which includes requirements for project tasks, composition of teams of teachers and students, and functions of each participant, intra- and inter-team communication system, a project work scheme as a business process, grading system. To confirm the efficiency of the methodology, we have received feedback from all process participants and stakeholders. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. It's very interesting and very good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have anybody questions? Okay. If questions, because okay, I have not very questions because I'm a lecturer of astronomy, and we also don't have projecting. And we also have some problem from such when we study. And I have other really project project learning in the mathematics or teaching impressive technologies, or I'm sorry, technology. What community are you? What skills are you development?
Thank you for the question. We try to develop as hard skills and soft skills. Hard
Okay.
skills, of course, because it's applied mathematics specialty, and hard skills as mathematics, of course, and some other domains, like I said, it can be physics, chemistry, tourism, economy, whatever, because that project, they are like, too common, I would say. It could be whatever from real world, as like a real customer can come to you, and like you are presented IT firm, and customer said, I don't know, I want some tourism application for I don't know, some city, city in Brazil, I don't know. Like, I can give you a map, and you have to create some marshroute or something like that. And of course, that students have to learn not only math, but also some maybe social question, economy question, transport question, and so on. And what about soft skills? It's very important. Sometimes it can be more important even than hard skills, because if students are even too smart and have a good marks for all subject, but when he or she come to the IT firm, but that students has no soft skills, like work in a team, yeah, like social skills, like to be I don't know how to say it, maybe more soft in with other people, yeah, and a lot of soft skills. It's very important. Have some subordination and so on, and how to manage with the customer, how to have build a right relationship and so on. And it's very important, because now we have, I think that I do think that now we have so quickly world, and relationship is too important now, because a lot of work can do machine, yeah, artificial intelligence and so on. But we have to trust each other, and a lot of relationship built on the trusting to other people. And you rather come to the IT company, which you have a strong relationship, yeah, and people which then super, I don't know, cool IT company, but you don't have appropriate relationship with the people who will make the project to you, yeah. So soft skills, it's very important too. And really, we have a good feedback from stakeholders that students show them more. They are more quickly adapted to all that circumstance, because the speed is too important in our world now, really.
Okay. Yes, thank you. It's very yes, it's very important, and nowadays, especially. And how many projects you use it when you in your experience for this work?
Whole number or simultaneously at one semester?
Okay, thank you.
Whole number at all? How many projects, or simultaneously during one semester? What do you mean?
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? You used this experience only for students or students for not primary, secondary school also?
No, only for first and second year students.
Yes, okay, thank you. Okay. There aren't any questions? Yes, so thank you all very much, and we go to next, not go to next, but we come back the previous topic, and Tatiana are here. And Tatiana Kramarenko from KRYVYI State Pedagogical University, and a topic from about the use of method technology in technical mathematics to students. Okay, please start.
The use of immersive technologies in teaching mathematics to vocational students. KRYVYI State Pedagogical University Abstract. This study examines the use of immersive technologies in teaching mathematics to vocational students. The purpose of the research is to develop theoretical foundations and practical applications for the use of immersive technologies in mathematics education, and to measure the impact of these technologies on student motivation and learning outcomes. The study considers the scientific and theoretical underpinnings of immersive technologies in mathematics teaching, as well as methods for using the AR book application. A theoretical model, criteria, and methodological support for evaluating the use of immersive technologies are developed. A pedagogical experiment is conducted to evaluate the impact of these technologies on vocational students. Based on the results of the experiment and training materials, the study presents generalizations on the use of immersive technologies in mathematics education. 1. Introduction. Virtual reality technologies refer to immersive learning that creates the effect of presence using technical devices of virtual and augmented reality. The range of application of virtual reality technologies is very wide. Technology can be used to teach students in both elementary and high school. The importance of using immersive technologies has increased during the period of introduction of distance learning in schools. Due to the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic and the introduction of martial law in Ukraine, a significant number of educational institutions have switched to distance learning for an indefinite period. These circumstances had a negative impact on the level of knowledge of students due to the difficulty of explaining topics in the conditions of distance learning. Since mathematics is often a difficult discipline for students to master, the use of immersive technologies will help to increase the effectiveness of mathematics teaching. Literature review. Today, various concepts of immersive technologies are known. The most cited set of technologies is VR, virtual reality, fully simulated reality. In the latest developments, VR can include visualization in three-dimensional space, a 360-degree view. AR, augmented reality, is complemented by virtual elements that are modeled. It is a visual combination of initially independent environments, real and virtual, superimposition of programmed interactive virtual objects on a real image. Immersive technologies is a collective name for all technologies that include user interaction with space, information, content. They blur the lines between real and fictional worlds, allow you to interact and immerse yourself in information and product. Augmented reality is an interactive technology that allows you to overlay digital content on real-world objects. Overlaid digital content can be computer graphics, textual information, electronic links, videos, and 3D objects. The superimposed virtual objects are read by digital devices, including smartphones, tablets, etc. 3. Learning tools in teaching geometry with augmented reality. You can use applications for mobile phones, Arloon Geometry, GeoGebra, AR Book. Students can be offered 3D models of many geometric shapes for consideration. As noted by many researchers, the principle of immersiveness contributes to the implementation of the principle of visibility of education, expands and supplements it, taking into account modern trends and technical capabilities. Immersive technologies in education contribute to strengthening the role of visualization in the process of knowledge acquisition by the students through deep immersion in the virtual environment. The principle of complexity in the immersive approach involves the impact on all human senses to the perception of educational material. Therefore, it is important to introduce new pedagogical technologies, create promising integrated educational systems in which immersive technologies will play an important role. Purpose and objectives of the article. There is not enough research on the effectiveness of using immersive technologies in teaching mathematics to students. Many teachers are not sufficiently prepared to implement new methods, technologies, which include immersive approach. Therefore, the results of this study are relevant. The authors of the article present the methodology of using the Ukrainian language application AR Book in teaching mathematics to students. The results of the pedagogical experiment show the effectiveness of the application AR Book to increase the level of motivation of students in the process of learning mathematics and their level of academic achievement. Basic material. The purpose of our study was to theoretically substantiate and develop directions for the use of immersive technologies in teaching mathematics to students. We measured the impact of immersive technologies on the level of motivation and learning outcomes of vocational students. To achieve the purpose of the study, the scientific and theoretical foundations of the problem of using immersive technologies in teaching mathematics. Methods of using the AR Book application in teaching mathematics to students are considered. We consider the methodology of using the AR Book application in teaching mathematics to students. The AR Book application from Ukrainian developers allows students to conduct safe cognitive experiments at home using AR technology. The mobile application is designed to increase the efficiency of home learning. The application is relevant in a pandemic, and currently in the context of hostilities. This mobile application is a virtual laboratory in which every student can conduct school experiments, anywhere and anytime. The application for learning mathematics corresponds to the school curriculum of the standard level. When teaching mathematics to students of vocational schools using immersive technologies, the curriculum for 10 to 11 grades and its coverage in modern textbooks were followed. Textbooks of the standard level were used in the training, in particular by the authors team Mertzliak. Big point 1 shows examples of visualizations from the AR Book application. Namely, the presentation of theoretical information about parallel lines in the AR Book application. Table 2. Results of the study of the level of motivation of students' learning activities according to the method of Rehn and Yakunin after the experiment. For example, when studying the topic, regular polyhedra, the teacher first provides students with theoretical information on the topic. The next step is to give an example of a task on the topic, regular polyhedra. Then the teacher invites students to complete a practical task using the AR book application. When completing the task, the student can choose two options: virtual environment and augmented reality, which differ in the visual display when the student performs tasks. Everyone chooses the option that is more convenient for him. In the course of the study, a theoretical model of the use of immersive technologies in teaching mathematics to students of vocational schools was developed and tested. This model reflects the general didactic and professional principles of learning. In particular, the general didactic principles include the principles of scientificity, systematicity, visibility, strength of assimilation, consistency, continuity, activity and consciousness of learning. To professional we include the principles of integration and differentiation of mathematical knowledge and creative activity. The didactic block includes structural and functional components of the content and technology of vocational training with the use of immersive technologies. It presents forms, methods and means of training. It should be noted that the achievement of the intended goal is impossible without appropriate pedagogical conditions. The general pedagogical conditions include the formation of students' positive motivation for independent work in the process of studying mathematical disciplines, the formation of professional culture. The organizational and pedagogical condition is the provision of didactic material that forms the readiness of students to use information technology. The technological conditions include the establishment of interdisciplinary links with the disciplines of natural and professional cycles on the basis of modular learning. Timely and efficient filling of the information educational environment with educational content. Psychodiagnostic methods, questionnaires, testing, were used in the empirical study to evaluate the formation of motivation to acquire knowledge in mathematics of students of vocational schools in the learning process. The questionnaire, determining the level of aspirations, by V. Megan and M. Egnovatov, was chosen to determine the orientation of students to acquire knowledge. The method, motivation of learning activity, by A. Reen, B.O. Yakunin, to determine the motivation of pupils to learn mathematics. Methodology of V. Smekal and M. Kutcher, study of personality orientation. Methodology, value orientations, M. Rokic. Cut-off written testing. The results of the study of the level of pupils' claims according to the methodology, determination of the level of claims, by Megan and Engovatov after the experiment are presented in Table 1. Table 2. Results of the study of the level of motivation of students' learning activities according to the method of Reen and Yakunin after the experiment. Conclusions taking into account the results of the pedagogical experiment. We can conclude that the use of the AR Book mobile application for teaching mathematics to students of vocational schools is appropriate. The systematic use of the application by students has brought a positive result in the form of increasing students' motivation and improving their level of knowledge. Among the advantages of using immersive technologies in teaching mathematics to students are full immersion in the learning process, presence effect, visibility and brightness of sensations, interactivity, facilitation of understanding and simplification of perception, use of visual and auditory channels of perception, the ability to simplify the perception of complex objects, the ability to scale, rotate, assemble and disassemble complex objects into their constituent elements, the possibility of gamification of education. The possibility of repeated repetition of information and training skills. To use immersive technologies in teaching, it is necessary to create psychological and pedagogical conditions. The key requirements for the system of building interactive learning tools are ease of use and versatility. By means of educational communication, the teacher sets the parameters of learning, determines the conditions for completing the learning task, adjusts the course of students' activities, provides meaningful orientation and creates conditions for students to realize the results of their activities in the virtual or augmented reality environment. The theoretical model of using immersive technologies in teaching mathematics to students of vocational schools consists of a target block, didactic block, and diagnostic block. The aim is to increase the motivation of students to study mathematics and increase the assimilation of educational material through the use of immersive technologies. Pupils will receive sufficient knowledge, they have a high level of motivation to learn. Prospects for further research are the development of ways to solve the problems of using augmented reality technology in education and their implementation in practice. Thanks for your attention.
I have a question.
Yes.
Maybe in a report I want to see some immersive technology, but maybe author decided to do this presentation. A question next. For which profiles of study in high school is it used to iBook?
Шановні колеги, усно я можу відповідати українською. Так.
Okay, no, you can write.
Okay,
Right.
we will to translate, or maybe to write in the chat, and we read your answer. Maybe this option will be good. Світлана, як which option we choose? Maybe in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
We don't hear Svetlana. Please, your microphone.
Okay. I don't your answer in the chat. Yes, we can't see.
Thank you.
And at the time we let's go for the next presentation.
Okay. And it's the last presentation for today for this section from Sergei Semens and Natalia Andreychuk from Zhytomyr Polytechnic State University, Zhytomyr Ivan Franko State University. And topic about studies about zones immediately, mathematics development and methodics of development teaching of mathematics. Please start.
Excuse me. Dear scientific community, our job is offered to your attention study about zone of immediate mathematical development and methods of developmental teaching of mathematics. The co-speaker is co-author Natalia Andreychuk.
Greetings to the respected scientific community. First of all, we want to thank the organizers of the conference for the honor and pleasure of participating in such a prestigious scientific event. We express our sincerest congratulations to the participants of the IConMaSTEd 2023 conference from the Ukrainian city of Zhytomyr. We sincerely wish a life in peace, further mathematical and educational mathematical victories. This slide presents the content and the structure of the presentation. Our pilot study included an expert assessment of the factors' importance in developmental mathematics education. Among experienced mathematics teachers, 10 experts were selected and participated in the survey. They ranked the main factors of mathematical abilities. 6 of these factors are presented on the screen. After the surveys, the consistency of expert judgments was checked. For this, Kendall's concordance coefficient was calculated. It was found that the agreement of expert teachers regarding the main manifestations of mathematical abilities is average. An expert assessment of the importance of factors for the development of mathematical abilities of students of education was carried out. The main 4 factors, including it, you can see on the slide. So, it was established that the agreement of expert teachers regarding the factors of development of students' mathematical abilities is sufficient. The majority of experts named mathematical abilities and cognitive interest as the primary factors, but the least significant was the modern method of teaching mathematics. The surveyed teachers emphasized the problem of methodological support for the development of mathematical abilities, the lack of a scientifically based developmental methodology for teaching mathematics. So, on this slide, we can see the purpose of the study. And the purpose of the work is to develop the doctrine of the zones of immediate mathematical development for the students of education, to create and scientifically substantiate a theoretical probabilistic methodical model of developmental mathematics education, to experimentally verify the effectiveness of the developed methodology. The zone of immediate development is the distance between the level of the child's actual development determined by his independent achievements and the level of possible development outlined by the tasks that are decided by the adults, primarily parents, educators, and teachers. Taking into account the definition of the generic category of the research problem, the concept of zone of immediate mathematical development is formulated as a component of mathematics education. The cycle of developmental learning is substantiated, in which zones of immediate and actual mathematical development, processes of internalization and externalization are combined in a closed sequence. The conceptual position of the research is the judgment that the structural and functional features of the zones of immediate mathematical development represent the principle of developmental continuity of mathematics education and the task structure of educational and mathematical activity. According to the principle of developmental continuity, each subsequent type of problem differs from the previous one by a higher level of content theoretical generalization. This made it possible to distinguish 4 zones of the nearest mathematical development, which you can see on this slide. In the work, we review the phasing and content of the methodology of developmental teaching of mathematics. Here you can see 4 stages, and I would like to comment on each of them. So the first stage, we can see the determination of areas of actual mathematical development of students of education. The essence of this stage consists of formulating and solving basic problems in mathematics, as a result of which the methods of action that the students of education have already mastered are established. As for the second stage, a problem-solving situation is created, which students of education cannot cope with on their own. Under collective and collectively distributed forms of education work, a basic or applied problem in mathematics is solved. The method of mathematical modeling is implemented and a mathematical model is built. The third stage, at this stage, individual forms of educational work prevail. The process of internalization is ensured. Created educational models are implemented here. Students solve math problems individually. Therefore, it is determined individually whether the nearest zone of mathematical development has actually transformed into an actual one. As for the fourth stage, the zones of actual mathematical development of students of education established at the third stage serve as a basis for designing their zones of immediate mathematical development. In order to experimentally check the effectiveness of the methodology, sets of tasks were developed, which included testing interest in studying mathematics, construction of mathematical model, drawing up an algorithm for solving typical problems, establishing correspondences, solving proof problems, solving Olympiad problems. After the end of the pedagogical experiment, the methods of mathematical statistics were used. The Kolmogorov-Smirnov criterion and Fisher's angular transformation. These methods confirmed the effectiveness of the experimental method of developing students' mathematical abilities. The implementation of the experimental methodology gives the following results. Experimental group high school students have a more developed interest in studying mathematics. Compared to control group, experimental group high school students distinguish between concepts and relations more clearly, have a better command of theoretical concepts, and have problem-solving methods. High school students of experimental group have a better command of the method of mathematical modeling, more skillfully solved applied problems in mathematics. High school students of the experimental group have a more developed memory for typical relations, general schemes of reasoning, content and structure of methods and ways of solving problems. Mathematical Olympiad problems are better solved by experimental group high school students. The teaching of students of the creative level of mathematical development is accompanied by aha experience, has signs of heuristics. The percentage of respondents with a pre-basic zone of actual mathematical development has dropped to 0. Positive changes can be traced. First of all, in the basic area of actual mathematical development, it has expanded to the educational area. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, and to you.
I have a small question. Where do you implementation your study or results of your study?
Sorry, no sound. Your microphone is mute.
Okay. No microphone. Zero.
Maybe so
Irina,
other.
repeat, please. But I hear you.
Where do you implementation your result?
Natalia. Turn on microphone.
Пані Наталі.
Okay.
Пані
No.
Наталі.
Yes. One second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now we can hear.
Yeah, I can see. Thank you very much for your question, and I want to greet all the respectful members of the community and of the conference. And again, another thank for a very great reports that I have been honored to hear and to listen to. And as for your question, Ms. Irina, let me translate it to 3 minutes and give my own also interpretation of the answer. Mr. Sergey, do you understand the question? Shall I translate?
Yes, of course.
Де було задіяно експеримент? Do I understand you correctly, Ms. Irina?
Так. Експериментальна база, дякую за запитання, пані Ірино. Експериментальна база була на Житомирському регіоні, в Житомирській області.
Well, the experimental base or the experimental platform was actually provided by Zhytomyr and Zhytomyr region establishing institutions.
До експерименту були задіяні 446 респондентів. Це старшокласники 10-11 класи.
So more than 420 recipients were participating in the experiment, and they were mostly the students of the high school, like high school students, the students of the 11th and 10th form.
Сам експеримент тривав впродовж 3 років. Констатувальний і формувальний етап експерименту тривав впродовж 3 років.
The experiment itself was lasting for 3 years. The constant part of the experiment and констатувальний
і констатувальний формувальний етап експерименту.
And forming part of the experiment, it took 3 years to finish up the experiment.
Ефект методики був досягнутий на останньому 11 класі, був найбільш разючий ефект.
So the most striking results and the most striking effect was achieved with the students of the 11th form. Well, have we answered the question?
Okay, what why 11 classes? Maybe students more knowledgeing.
Yeah, you mean that there is a wide range of students, and why we chose in the experiment the high school students?
Yes, or more they are more motivation for studying.
Well, actually, the reasons, there are several reasons of this kind. The first one is that, first of all, the students of high school, they are really, as you have already mentioned, they are more motivated because they are supposed to take an independent testing. So that's why, and mathematics is the obligatory subject for them to pass. So that's why they are interested in developing their mathematical skills. And on the other hand, there might be another reason is that these kinds of students, they are the closest to being a student, to becoming a student, where actually studying like the future career and the future job depends mostly on how they study and how hard they are, or how they do their best to achieve the best results. So these are mainly two reasons why we chose these groups. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Sergey?
Not. No.
Okay,
No, no.
thank you. Yes, it's very interesting and result, but very interesting work. Thank you, Sergey. Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Are there any? Yes, maybe there are any questions? No. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, all members of our section. Thank you, all colleagues. It was a very interesting reports, questions. Thank you for activities, someone. And we must finish early.
So we can see finish our sections, and now I propose to take a photo
Maybe
of all
photo, yes.
participants. Please turn on your cameras.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Many thanks, and
We say we will see you to the next section in the Friday on the YOS night, YOS scientific, and in the next year.
IConMaSTEd 2024.
24. Yeah, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Goodbye.
Have a good evening.
Thank you very
Or
much.
Ramon, have a good morning, yes?
Thank you very much for very interesting conference. So
Yes.
and very interesting scientific reports. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And you.
Good luck.
Good luck.